Canada Day, up Canada way on the first day of July. And we're shouting hooray up Canada way when the maple leaf flies high. When the silver jets from east to west go streaming through our sky. We'll be shouting hooray up Canada way when the great parade goes by. Oh, Canada, standing tall together, we raise
What a
our
song.
hands
What a
up to
track.
our flag, the maple leaf forever.
Stop it, Tom.
Yeah, it's Canada Day.
It's Canada Day, and it's episode, I guess, 68.
Almost. Oh.
It's 68. Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey. Yeah, you excited, Foley?
Yeah.
Back for another guest appearance.
Yeah, we're giving him a tree out to see if he's any good. Maybe bring him on.
Kind of like when
More
Spin
often.
Chicklets brought Biz on.
Yeah, a little tryout.
Little tryout, yeah. Except I think you do
Pack
less
your
drugs
shit,
than he
Foley.
does.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel like I think I get a few more than Biz Nasty. You know what I mean? I could bury a few more.
Are you talking about?
I haven't seen you skate, so I don't believe you yet.
Yeah, we don't know if you can actually hockey or not.
Yeah.
Like Wacey, you're a goalie. Come on.
He
What's
plays
that have
out
to do,
too.
What's that have to do with anything? I'm good at playing out. I'm probably better
Like-
than you at playing out.
No way.
Probably.
You're dreaming.
No, buddy. Only chance.
Actually, most goalies are pretty decent at playing forward.
Yeah, I know. I'm sick. I'm a goal scoring winger.
Like back in the day, we used to have a thing where we went to the Civic Center like during school.
Yeah.
And Braden Holpe would never play goalie, and he was an absolute stud on forward.
Really?
Yes,
That's cool.
never would play goal, never ever.
And is
He
that
always played-
that's like that was like a school, like a during school hours, like because he obviously played goalie like when he was a kid, I guess, eh?
Oh yeah, he was goalie all like throughout. His dad was goalie, so he was goalie, and then we do like I can't remember what it's called, but like you go to the Civic Center and
In Lloydminster.
Yeah. And he'd never played goal. He was always playing out. And then when we played like floor hockey tournaments, it'd get super heated.
I would never play goalie like in floor hockey or ball hockey ever. I fucking hate it.
It's
No,
the worst.
he was out. He was forward getting like 5 goals a game.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
That's how you do it, bro.
God. I bet you he would have made the NHL if he played forward.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a pretty bold claim.
Instead, he's just in the NHL as a
Stanley
goalie.
Cup champion. I think he won.
This is Stanley Cup.
I think he's won a
He's good,
Vezina
man.
too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he won a Vezina, didn't he? The year that they won the cup.
Not that year, no. I think it was a couple years before that. Anyways, that's pretty cool.
Is that the most famous like name drop you can do, Foley? Just slide that in there.
No. I was just saying though, like most goalies are really good at skating, right?
Way to completely dodge that question.
Are you a politician?
Yeah, he's probably. I'm guessing he's probably like one of the most famous people from Lloyd.
Yeah, probably. Hey, I guess that's probably a good call, really.
Like I don't
Alright.
think there's anybody like really famous from Lloyd other than like hockey players.
Isn't Scott Hartnell from Lloyd?
I don't think Scotty was born in
He
Lloyd,
played for the
but
Bobcats.
Yeah. His parents did live here. I don't know if they still do.
Oh, cool.
Clark MacArthur, his mom was our principal.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat.
The only
He's from
NHLer
Lloyd.
we had from Nacum was Lynn Loynes, and he was a black ace with the Flames in their cup run.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
The jersey that they have in the rink of his is a practice jersey. It's not even an actual game jersey.
Oh dear.
Well,
What was your?
I don't know, like Colby Armstrong. I don't know
Oh,
if he's
Arm
from
Dog's
Lloyd.
sick, man.
Is he a Lloydminster guy?
I don't know if he's from Lloyd, but I know I think he lived here. I don't know.
Well, what was your question you had for
For the boys?
Foley?
Well, it's
Yeah.
not for Foley, just for
Oh,
in
it's for
general.
both of us?
Because we're getting into July here now, and I was thinking, like, what is the one thing that you've been missing about, or you have not been missing about rodeoing? And you can't say driving because that's what everybody will say. Like, this is the one thing that just gets on your nerves, but just like part of it that you have not missed.
Foley, you're up
Ooh.
first.
I'm up first. One thing that I don't miss.
You can't be driving because everybody would say that.
Yeah. One thing that I don't miss. Man, I like it a lot. I'm just trying to think. Like besides driving, like there's probably something that I could say that would be pretty touchy to everybody, but
Do it. Get the
It's
people
edgy.
going.
It's edgy.
Get the people going. You can say what I was going to say, and you don't like the drama, because there's plenty of drama.
yeah,
drama.
yeah, there is politics, I guess.
The politics
of it.
and for me, it'd be the stress of when like a speaker doesn't work, or like some cable goes haywire, or a microphone.
Mine is
has
most
some
clown
static.
acts.
The most clown.
Most of them, because you've seen them so many times. Just like I don't get why. I get it that it works for the people, but from my end of things, it's like this sucks.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's good.
Stuff like that. That was my
I
question.
think. You know what? I think being the entertainer, it's probably super hard because there's a lot of pressure on you.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
But I've seen some acts where I'm like, okay, we need to find some new stuff.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like we probably worked how many performances of rodeo with Dennis Halstead last. Not like this is not a slight at Dennis, but like just you see his same acts over and over throughout the season. It's like we probably seen the what's the chicken one he does or whatever. I don't know. There's a chicken one.
It's long enough now that I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, just stuff like that. It's just kind of funny, but I don't miss that.
What
I think like, and I'm not speaking. I've never been a entertainer per se, but
per se?
like I wonder what those guys like Dennis and Ricky Ticky, like they must sit down with a piece of paper and just be like, things I can do with a chicken.
Yeah, that's
just
true
start,
though. Especially
Put
Ricky
chicken
Ticky.
put chicken in outhouse and blow up. Okay, that
Comedy.
sounds good. Yeah. Put chicken on little car and drive it around arena. Ooh, that one sounds good too.
It would be such a hard job though.
It would be.
Yeah.
Definitely. I give those guys credit just for stepping in to do that job
Oh man.
and being that person.
Have you ever had anybody tell you should be a rodeo clown or you should try it?
Oh, I think just as jokes so far, but
I've
yeah.
had some people tell me to do it too. I'm like, I don't want to do any part of that.
I
You
don't
should try it,
think-
Wings.
Nah, no.
It should be something where if somebody loses a bet, they have to do a clown. Like Sean had mentioned that at one point. Our editor had said
That would be a good
if you lose a bet, you got to go be a
it
clown
would be
for
a
a
good
day.
because for our hockey draft coming up or
you
next
got to go
season,
clown a perf.
we're gonna do like a punishment for the losing player.
You'd have to have all all rodeo guys in it then.
Well, you could just like make it work. But anything that'd be a funny punishment.
It would be a good one.
My favorite punishment is you have to try out for the Canadian bobsled team.
That would be.
Fucking
Quite
so
good.
funny. Fucking be awesome.
Then you would win. Then somebody would make it, and then it would be.
Man,
then you'd
there's
have to,
no.
like,
I
have
could
to
not walk
go.
onto the bobsled team and make it. Not a
You don't think
chance.
so?
Those guys. Have you seen how
that's
huge those
true.
people are?
But like,
those guys are monsters.
Yeah,
do you think you'd crap your pants when you went around a corner and like
I'd
tipped
love
over?
to try it.
You'd love to try it.
Yeah, hell yeah, I would. Be
Well,
awesome.
Jordan Hanson's sister has done a few different things in Olympic sport. I want to say
She's a bobsledder.
yeah, she's a bobsledder. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but she's tried skeleton and the luge, I believe.
She
but
said she would take us bobsledding, but she never did.
we haven't got to do it yet. Maybe someday.
I'd
Maybe
love-
after the Rona.
I'd love to go.
What's the head down? The head first.
Skeleton, and then like feet down is luge. Yep.
You strike me
You
as
know what?
like if you, here's a question for you. If you were doing 2-man luge, would you want to be on the bottom or the top?
Oh,
Based on your what you were doing last episode with your bulls, I would say probably the top.
I'd want to be on the bottom
Yeah.
because you have to hold on to something.
If you're on the top, what do you
Yeah,
got to
I'm-
hold
I
on
don't
to?
know. I don't know. It would just be weird.
I'm being the first guy in the cart. Screw it.
For bobsled?
Yeah.
Oh, we're
No,
talking luge.
We're talking 2-man luge. We have to lay on top of each other.
Oh,
Like Wacey has to lay on top of you.
I'm
Like
on the
right
bottom.
on your
I
barrel.
already dibs the bottom.
Like you got to lay on Wacey's barrel going down.
yeah. Fuck it. I'll do it.
but at least you guys don't have to like 69 your way down. It's not like
Imagine if somebody
Yeah,
did that.
it's
That'd
not
be
like
so
half
funny.
skeleton, half luge. It's just both feet.
Man,
That'd be fucking funny.
We'd show up to that thing with a calf cart, calf sled.
You guys, this is something else I thought of. What is it with cowboy people, Western people golfing in jeans? What is that? What's
That's all
their
they
deal?
know. That's all they know.
Just put some like shorts on or something. I'm not.
Well, but don't put on swim trunks because that's weird. That's weird too.
Yeah, you gotta
Just
like.
wear some khakis. Just get some Wrangler khakis. Get some like golf
I
pants.
just see so many
Get some
people like
real
on social
shorts.
media golfing in shorts or golfing in like
In jeans? Yeah.
It's like this is not cool.
It ain't good. I'm at what am I at now? Before
White ass legs.
depending on when we get out there, I think I've had 24 rounds of golf this year, most I've ever golfed. It's
Nice.
been quite nice. But hey guys, it's Canada Day, so let's talk. What's your favorite thing about Canada? Well, it's Canada Day. Like what's your favorite? Or should it be what makes you most proud to be Canadian? Maybe that's a better question.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I can answer. I'm gonna answer both questions.
Go
the
ahead.
first answer is the mountains.
That's what you like the most. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it's cool. There's so many things you can go do. Like
Yeah.
you can hike,
Got
you can
it.
bike, you can skate, you can ski, you can do all these different things, and it's pretty.
Yeah.
And we're so lucky to have access to that.
And being close in Calgary. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
And then what?
Yeah,
makes
we're not the only country with mountains.
Point for Foley. What's your second half, Wace?
what makes me most proud to be a Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is like having the freedom to like choose my own path to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
I like that.
I've never been anytime I've ever wanted to do something, I've never had like
You've been able to.
I've been able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to, bad enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Foley, what are your answers?
I'm gonna say first question is the people. 75%, because 25% of Canadians are shitheads. So 75%, like, man, Canadians are so much nicer in every aspect. I don't care who's listening to this, but Canadians are so, like, everybody's super nice.
That's a good point.
For the most part.
When you're traveling and you run into like another Canadian, like they're gonna be buddies with you.
Oh, 100%.
You're probably going to get drunk with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and even if you travel within Canada, like everybody, for the most part, like I say, there's 25% of shitheads, but everybody is, kind, polite. You hold the door here, you got a 90% chance of somebody saying thanks.
That
You
bothers
go
me.
anywhere-
People don't say thanks a lot.
Yeah, man, that drives me nuts
Yeah.
when people don't.
Yeah, that's a good take.
It actually makes me wish that I could walk behind them till they hit another door, and I'll just shut it in their face quick.
Oh dear.
It's fair though.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so the people for sure. Like I said, you go to other countries and you really see how nice Canadians are.
Well, we have good rapport like all around the world. Like as Canadians, like
It's true.
everywhere you go, like, oh, you're Canadian, like you're so awesome. Like
People
Yeah, like
like
they
us.
tell you when you travel, you should have a Canadian flag on like your backpack and stuff.
Yeah. It's true.
So-
I'm
so
going
people-
to steal both of your answers and say the people and the freedom. Probably both of them.
you can't do that.
Yeah,
You
I
have to
went
make
last.
your own, it was your question. You
I
have
went
to,
last, so I
no,
get to
frig
decide.
you, man. Come on.
Clean air.
yeah.
I
Dig a
like
little
that.
deeper.
I like the clean air of Canada. I like how calm everyone is too. Like people are very reasonable here, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I don't know, just reasonable, and it's pretty calm. Like it's quite calm here most of the time. It seems like people are. I'm not sure what else to say besides
What's up
that
one?
word.
So then, where is somewhere in Canada that you haven't been yet that you want to go explore?
Oh, up north. This week, I was only gonna be for like 14 or 18 hours or something. But my cousin was getting married on the July 4th on the Saturday, so we were supposed to like work Calgary, like we're working everything, the Stampede, right? And I had a flight out at like 6 a.m. on Saturday morning or something. It might have even been 11. But 11 a.m. I went straight to Whitehorse with WestJet, and then we would land at like, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock or whatever. And then the wedding was at 4 or 5. So we were going to be able to make the wedding and then, party that night for the wedding. Last time all us cousins got together, we ended up like just about wrecking a bunch of golf carts because we got a little out of hand at one of my other cousins' weddings. So it was gonna be a fun time. Flapped to Whitehorse for the night. I was gonna miss the perf of the rodeo and the chucks, but I had it all set up. It was gonna be covered, and then we were gonna fly back the next morning, like leave at 6. We had to go back through Vancouver because there was no direct flight back. So would have been Whitehorse. So that's one we're supposed to do it next year. Hopefully it's not over Stampede again. But if it is, I'm going to that wedding no matter what. So that'd be part of it. One was that we were supposed to go to this year with the PBR with Sydney, Nova Scotia. I really wanted to see Sydney. And then Newfoundland. I haven't been to Newfoundland yet either.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the last places. Newfoundland's the last province I haven't been to yet, and then I haven't been to the territories. So I've been to like 9 of the 10 provinces.
Nice.
Yeah.
Foley?
One place in Canada that I haven't been to, I want to see.
Yeah.
Maybe like the Bay of Fundy. Is that in Prince Edward Island?
That's New Brunswick, the Bay of Fundy, because they have the biggest
New Brunswick.
tides in the country. Like the Hopewell Rocks are at the end of the Bay of Fundy, because they have the biggest tides in the world.
I'd like to go see that.
It's nice. You'll like it. My brother and I checked it out a couple years ago. Would recommend. I gave it a 5 stars on Google.
I want to see a polar bear too.
That would be tight. That
neat.
would be tight. Yeah,
Go to the
that'd be
Arctic. My dad used to work up there.
Oh, really?
One of our future shows, we've recorded a bunch of stuff with my dad. We're gonna use it at some point. So
Nice.
he's got a polar bear story. So
About a bear.
before,
Did he fight a polar bear?
oh no, you don't fight a polar bear. You never fight a polar bear. If you're fighting a polar bear, you're dead. You're dead. You're polar bear lunch. So
yeah, but you think you're gonna like say a polar bear comes up to you, Ted, and they, you know what I mean, lips you off a bit, says something to your girlfriend. Are you gonna go him, or are you running away?
I'm running the fuck away if I can make it. But you're probably dead anyways. But
Okay.
before we wrap up this first segment of the show, we got our guest coming up here. We actually so Storm and I took a road trip out west and went out and met with him. He's this year's Calgary Stampede Parade Marshal, because even though the Stampede's canceled, it would have started on Friday. So we made the trip out west to go and to meet Filipe Masetti Leite. He's the Stampede Parade Marshal, and actually has ridden his horse all the way from Brazil, all the way from Calgary to Brazil to the southern tip of South America, and then to finish the trip, he went from Alaska to Calgary. So he's basically ridden all the way from the furthest north part of North America all the way to the furthest south part. So
That's cool.
pretty incredible what he's done that way. So we met up with him out west of Rocky Mountain House, just like only about 10 kilometers from where I used to camp as a kid. So
Nice.
it was a pretty neat trip out there. So we had a really fun time doing this interview. But we have a lot of American listeners. It's also July 4th on Saturday. So what's your favorite thing about America? Wacey, you first.
Favorite thing about America?
I love a lot of American listeners too.
I love Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
That's your favorite part of
in
America?
California.
Okay.
Yeah, I
like
went to
it.
college in Texas first semester, and I
Mhm.
loved living down there. It was so cool. It was like
Yep.
kind of a culture shock, but the people were nice. It was really fun. If you're gonna be a rodeo person, like if you want to ride bulls,
You want to go to Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And California is cool because I could get behind living in a beach town.
that's fair. Did you ever go to a nude beach in California?
No,
No?
wouldn't fare well at a nude beach.
No?
I'm not packing enough heat for that.
Foley, what do you got?
My favorite part of
America.
America, the accent.
The accents. That's a good one. I like
It's
that.
crazy, like how many different accents they have.
That's
eh?
true. You got like the Northeast.
I get a kick out of accents.
That's true.
Like
a good one.
guys from Mississippi, Louisiana, you can't even understand them when they're talking real
They're
quick.
like the Newfies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar.
Like they get going.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I like their accents are pretty badass. The price of chewing tobacco is also a
Quite good.
plus. A plus.
One of my favorite parts was probably going to some of those rodeos at night under the lights. It was such a cool atmosphere to go to those events when it's like 7 p.m. It's getting dark, and then they turn the lights on, and there's people everywhere, and it's loud. And
For whatever reason, it's a different vibe. Hey,
oh yeah,
Yeah,
the only one
I
we
agree.
have close up here is Armstrong in September.
Austin,
they changed-
Manitoba does it too.
Oh, they do. So I didn't know about that one, but yeah, Armstrong. But Armstrong moved their start time up to 7, so it kind of changed that dynamic a little bit. But Armstrong's a cool one. I like that. And then there's but it's one of the only ones because it gets so damn cold here by the time you get the light.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Light
Yeah.
out
The only
like
time you
that,
can do it
so-
is August.
Yeah, really. And it gets too cold at night though, really. So that'd be one of my favorites. But let's wrap up this first segment. We'll come back with our interview. Mr. Filipe Masetti Leite of Brazil, originally from Canada too. But here we go. Thanks for listening to Cowboy Shit with Ted Wacey, our special guest host James Foley.
With you, you think you're all that, Mr. Red, White, and Blue. We say hey, you say y'all. Yeah, we both got pro football. Except we got bigger balls and a longer field. One last down. We say Z, you say Z. Sure, we watch all your TV. You got a stronger armor down there, but men up here, we got stronger beer.
So it started out as a ride from the Calgary Stampede, the 2012 edition, to Barretos, to the biggest rodeo in Brazil. Became another ride from Barretos all the way to the tip of South America. And the third and the final long ride, we're currently in the middle of it, in the Rocky Mountains here, west
This
of
is
Rocky.
it right now, folks.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it in Rocky Mountain House, and I guess
Yes, sir.
you guys will be seeing this right around when it'll be concluding on July 3rd in Calgary. But the third ride started in Alaska. It's going all the way to the Calgary Stampede, the 2020 edition. Our guest today, the author of The Long Ride Home, originally from Brazil, spent some time in Canada, but here we are back. Like we said, West Rocky Mountain House, Mr. Filipe Masetti Leite. Oh, I fucked it up.
No, you're good. Leite. You had it, buddy. You were there. You
I
were
should
there.
have just went for it.
It's
Leite.
the Brazilian, man. It's terrible.
Well, and then you said there's some extra in there. There's like the
my
Souza.
real name is Filipe Masetti de Souza Leite.
Yeah, like 5 names.
I know it's terrible.
All the Brazilian guys with
Yeah.
5 names.
Yeah, you gotta have 5 names or you're not Brazilian.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
terrible. And usually they just call you by a nickname. That's the joke, right?
Yeah.
It's like, my name is Filipe Masetti de Souza Leite. When I was a kid, everyone called me Zetinha. So it's like you have this super long name, and then they just give you a tiny.
Give you one name.
It's terrible. But thank you for coming out.
Hey, yeah, no worries.
Nicest guy in the world brought me a blue cooler full of beer.
Full of beer. And
that
then
is the nicest cowboy I've ever met.
a full assortment. Well, there's always beer at our house.
It's just so nice.
One time that was all we had in the house was just beer.
Well, I'd like
That's
to live in
kinda
that
how it
house.
goes.
Amen. Cheers, sir.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
So we actually we got talking like a week ago. I sent you a text, got
Yes, sir.
connected with Christina Barnes with the
Yeah.
Calgary Stampede there, and you're the parade marshal. I didn't mention that part, but you're the 2020
Yeah.
parade marshal.
Yes, sir.
You've been waiting on this for like a year, and then you finally get to announce it, and it's canceled.
Yes. Yes, sir. That was a hard day. It was a real hard day. You know, I'm terrible at secrets. And when Dana invited me out in the Yukon, he's like, wait, but now you can't tell anybody.
Yeah, for like a
I was
year.
Wait, what? He's like, yeah, you can't tell anybody till June of next year. I'm like, why did you tell
Why?
me now? Like, why are you doing
You
this?
should have
to me?
waited. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I sat on it for a year and then it got canceled. It was real tough.
Man, so are they gonna invite you back next year again, maybe, or like what? I guess
No, I don't think so.
this
You
is
know,
it, eh?
yeah, it's one of the big parts of being president of the Calgary Stampede is selecting the parade marshal. You know, there's been some notorious people that have done it in the past, and
Chris Hadfield, William Shatner,
yeah, yeah.
like some royalty different times, like
Yeah.
pretty incredible list of folks.
Oh
It's
yeah, pretty incredible.
big honor to be on that list.
Huge honor. Yeah, I'm just over the moon. I feel blessed. I feel like I'm not worthy of the job at times, but just so honored to have been chosen. And yeah, when it was canceled, it was real sad. But I feel like everything happens for a reason. We started talking about this when you guys showed up. We were talking about the coronavirus and everything that's happening in the world right now. And I'm a big believer that everything's already written. Everything's meant to be. So what are the chances that the one time the Calgary Stampede gets canceled in over a century, there's a guy riding in on horseback to be able to celebrate what it means to be a cowboy and what it means to live this Western way of life. And I'm just so happy to have the torch right now and be able to tell these stories and like I said, celebrate the Calgary Stampede, because even if we're just celebrating the spirit this year, it's important not to forget what this rodeo means to Canada, to Calgary, and to the world as a cowboy. You know, it's one of the biggest rodeos. Every time I told people I was coming from Calgary, whether it was Guatemala, whether it was Peru or Brazil, they knew Calgary because of the Stampede.
It's a worldwide brand, really. Like
100%.
that's anywhere I go in the world so far. Somebody knows that I'm involved with the rodeo. It's the Calgary Stampede. It wasn't the NFR or Denver or Houston or any of those rodeos. San Antonio is always Calgary. It's quite incredible to live in that city and have that be a part of our life.
Yes, sir.
I love it. So let's go back a ways here, though. So Journey America began basically in your, I don't want to say college dorm, but like it was your house in Eastern Canada, which
Yes.
some folks might not realize, but you spent from the age of 9 to 25 in Ontario.
Yes, sir. Ontario was my home, a little town called Bolton, Ontario. Loved growing up there. It's just a beautiful place, some amazing people. And there's a rodeo association. There's the high school rodeo association, roping association. And I spent my years roping and tie down roping in the rodeos and grew up, went to school for journalism. Like you said,
At Ryerson in Toronto, right?
Yep, exactly. Ryerson in Toronto. And I was in my apartment where I was living at the time. And it had been a dream of mine my entire life, but it was inside me. It was in my soul. It was in my mind. And it was in that apartment my last year of school that I brought it out and wrote it down. And was like, you know what, it went from being a dream to being a project. And I didn't even realize how monumental it was of a moment. I wrote on Facebook, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to Brazil on a horse. And people were like, what? Like, are you drunk? Like, are you using drugs? Like, it's impossible. Like, you can't ride a horse to Brazil from Canada. But, you know, like I said, at that moment, it was just I wanted to get it out. But it was a monumental moment because from then on, I started planning this trip.
And so in the book that you let's talk about the book first. But in the book that was that your dad gave to you, correct? There was a long rider that went from Argentina all the way to New York.
Yes, sir.
So had like the Calgary to Brazil trip hadn't really ever happened before, technically
no one's ever ridden
that way
before. Everyone
so you're the first
rides
one.
North. Yeah, I'm the first one. But yeah, my dad read me this book. It's called Chifley's Ride. Aim Chifley, 1925, rode from Buenos Aires to New York, and yeah, I don't know why, but it just like I couldn't forget it my entire life. You know, on my little horse on the farm, being like, "What would it be like to cross Guatemala on a horse?"
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
What did? How long did it take Chifley to go from Buenos Aires?
It took
to New York?
him 2 years from
years.
go to Buenos Aires to New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And you were just over 2 years from Calgary to Barretos.
Yeah, 2 years and 3 months, 803 days.
And I don't even know where to start with this. It's so wild. And to just like come up here today, like you texted me like a week ago, and I was telling Storm on the way up, we're driving and we got our dog in the truck, and the dog's kind of freaking out, and we're trying to keep everything control. And then you said about 100K south of Nordegg, so I'm mapping it out. There's 7 Mile Creek down the way here.
Yeah.
That's I kind of figured you'd be close to there because that's 110.
Yeah.
And then we were looking at the signs we saw on your social. It was like 246. Little did I know that's being posted from Brazil, so it's like could be it's a total crapshoot
at all.
Yeah. so we're just like driving along. We talked to a park ranger, like, "Hey, have you seen this guy?" Yeah, we talked to him. We talked to him. Stopped at another camp, and I was like, "There's a bunch of horses." And we get stopped, and we trying to find your horses based on the Instagram. We're like, okay, I don't see the gray, so this can't be it. But we're like, we might as well go drive in and talk to the folks. And I'm like, I bet you I know somebody in here. So sure enough, we know somebody in the truck. And we got talking, yeah.
No.
So and they said that you were at the Ram Falls yesterday, so we knew about the Ram because we used to camp there as a kid. So. So we were like, yeah, okay, we'll just keep going north. You got a motorhome that you're traveling in. So we get up, we're like, okay, we found it. We see it, right? So we found him because I hadn't talked to him in weeks. So it's kind of,
yes, sir.
I don't know, every time now you go to somebody's house, you're like, yeah, I'm here. You text them from outside.
Right.
But this is like, no, we're just going to drive down the road till we see it.
That's amazing, man. You went on a journey. You guys went on a journey to find us.
Not even, but like.
No, but that's amazing, man. Like you had no idea where we were. Like I'm on a horse. You were literally following like hoof prints to find this guy for the interview. Have you ever done that for a podcast?
No, this is the first time.
I'm making you work. I'm making you work.
Exactly. From the we're getting a gorgeous day today now too. It was raining a bit ago, but it's amazing. Yes, okay, enough of that though. So the trip though, Calgary to Brazil. I'm reading your book. Just started it. We just got it the other day. But you start out in Calgary. You get 20 kilometers down the road, and it's 40 degrees out.
Yeah.
You must have thought you were in over your head when you get in on that first day.
100%, man. I'm like, what am I doing out here? I'm gonna die. Like, I couldn't even like think about packing a lunch or water that was like not in the pack saddle. And
forgot your breakfast too that day.
Yeah, like it was just so much. You know, like I had to be the long rider and the reporter and the PR guy and the camera guy and you know, like I was doing it all. I was doing interviews and I was saddling the horses and I was just way over my head. Like I was a one-person team and there should have been like 20 people there. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough, man. That first day, I always tell people it was the happiest day of my life because I was taking the first step on a lifelong dream, which I feel like people used to always say to me, like, you're so brave. You know, you're riding through Mexico. You're so brave. Like, you're in Honduras. It's the most dangerous country in the world. Or you're climbing these mountains on a horse by yourself. And I was like, that doesn't exist, you know? Like, to me, bravery didn't exist. But today I realized the bravest thing I did was take the first step because it holds so many people back from living their dreams. And I was 25 years old, and I was scared out of my mind. Like, I was so afraid, like you just said, way over my head. But John Wayne's got a great line that goes...
courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyways.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's all it is. We're all scared.
Yeah.
John Wayne was scared. You know
but
what I mean? Like, but you do it anyways. You put it aside, you know?
And it's like your quote about what was it now? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, geez, I don't know what the hell it is now, but it was a quote about there is no such thing as fear.
Yes,
it's
fear
all
is a monster.
Yeah, we make it up in our own head, right?
Yeah, amen. Amen. And I meet so many people today, man, because I do a lot of talks and because of my book, because of what I done. They tell me their dreams and their aspirations, and they never did them because they were scared.
Yeah.
You know? And we all have that. We all have that. But at some point, you got to realize it's just a monster. You got to quiet, shut it up, and take the first step. Because when you do, the universe conspires in your favor. I found a place to sleep that first night.
Yeah.
I found a place to sleep that second, third, fourth,
Kept
100,
going.
200, 400,
Yeah.
600, 800, and I got home.
Wow.
So yeah, but now I realize, thinking back to that kid, nearly 10 years later, I was very brave to take the first step
And go
say,
do
you
it.
know what, Frenchie's not ready, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the hell we're gonna get through this, but I'm going anyways. Like, I'm gonna saddle up and ride out of Calgary for sure.
What was the? I want to get into the trip now. What was the most memorable part of that first trip? There's a couple stories you have of being on the road there, but what was what's your maybe your fondest and your least fond memory from that first trip?
My fondest memory, there's a lot. This is tough, but like the one that impacted my journey so much was when I was in Colorado. A man by the name of Peter Lisker stayed at his house, helped me out, tremendously. And before I left, he's like, "Felipe, I gotta ask you something really weird. I don't know how to ask you this, but," and I was like, "What is this guy gonna ask me?" Right? He's like, "Will you take my sister with you on the trip?"
Really?
And I was like, "Can I see her first?" You know what I mean? And he goes, "My sister passed away, and she was in love with horses. She was an adventure, and I'd like to ask you to take her ashes with me." And I was like, I also believe in, like I said, I feel like things are written. I don't know why I showed up at his house. Like, I could have asked for help 3 houses later or 3 ranches back, and I knocked on his door. So he felt like it was destiny, that brought me there to take Naomi, his sister's, her ashes, on one last adventure. And I took him, and so many things happened. The worst for me moment was when my horse Frenchie was hit by a truck. And usually when an animal is hit by a truck or a car, either they die right away or you got to put them down because they're too heavy, and if they break some. And he didn't. He survived. So I felt like Naomi was kind of a guardian angel for us. Like, it wasn't just my destiny to take her on one last ride, but her come with me to protect us. And when I got to Brazil, I spread her ashes in the pasture where I retired the horses and asked her to keep, continue to watch over them forever.
You talked about a couple, Honduras being the most dangerous country in the world.
Yeah.
You ran into some serious shit there, really.
Oh, yeah, Honduras is crazy. I went in illegally with the help of a drug lord and stayed at his house for several days. Everyone armed with, like, AKs and children with pistols.
Holy shit.
He had his petting zoo in his house. His house was, like, had these, like, giant walls in front of it. And yeah, it was, I saw 2 people shot dead. I witnessed a guy trying to kill his wife with 5 gunshots. It's a very dangerous place. The war on drugs is a very serious thing we live with today. A lot of people suffering, a lot of people dying because of it. It's very sad. And to those people, they're very poor. This guy grew up in a family where he was hungry most days, and this was his opportunity to grow in life. And around me, he was very kind, very nice, with his children around him. At the same time, it was a huge contradiction because at the same time as this guy is a cold-hearted killer, I couldn't look in his eyes because, like, your eye has a light to it. I'm sure mine does. Most people's, his was like matte black. Like, I couldn't look into his eyes. But at the same time that he had this, like, he was a very evil man, he was very kind to his family and very loving to his children and to me. So it was very interesting to me as a journalist to, like, enter his home, and all thanks to the horse. The horse is a common language. The horse unifies people. That's what I found throughout this entire journey, and it puts you in the home of even some of the worst people in the world.
And he was. How did you get connected with him? Did you ride into his property, or how did that happen?
No, so I met a rancher in Guatemala that was very worried about me. Like, every country, there was a family that kind of adopted me. Tons of people helped me, but for some reason, there was always one family that went above and beyond. And this family, they were worried about me going into Honduras, and it was very complicated because of the bureaucracy of Latin America, the corruption. Going legally was almost impossible.
And that's because of trying to get paperwork for the horses?
Exactly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's very, this day and age that everyone's worried about viruses, what we're living right now with this pandemic with animals, right? There's some viruses they have in some countries that aren't in others. So they're closing the borders more and more, and it's very hard to cross. So I was crossing illegally, and this family out of Guatemala was very worried. So in countries like this, you have to be friends with these people. Otherwise, you're eating bullets. It's very dangerous. So the owner of this ranch, he knew a guy that was a drug lord in Guatemala. He put me in touch with him. I didn't know at the time where he was taking me. Like, we went to this house with these high walls. They always have really high walls around their house, and a little door that was metal with like one of those openings where you only see the guy's eyes.
Oh, wow.
And this guy knocks on this metal door, and the eye opens, and this guy looks through, and he says his name. The door opens, we go in, and I go into this world, and I never imagined. He didn't even tell me, and he put me in touch with this guy, and that guy put me in touch with the Honduras drug lord, and they gave me kind of a safe passing of the border, because had I gone there not knowing anybody, looking so American with my quarter horses and my hat and my boots, I could have been shot dead. I could have been considered a spy, or they don't ask questions, right? So for my safety, that was the only way to go in, is to have those guys know that I was coming through and have them on my side.
Wow. What was that the most like the scariest part of the trip, or was it other danger perils you ran into along the way?
Now thinking back, yes, I was like, man, I'm nuts. Like, it could have gone bad real quick. Like, if the military arrives, if another narco group arrives, you're in the home, you're a part of these people, you're there. Like, when that guy was trying to kill his wife, like, I was literally staying in the house that they owned. Like, they were right downstairs. Like, I could have been shot, and but there were other, like, for me, the worst parts were with the horses, always with the horses. Like, when Frenchie got hit by a truck, I had Bruiser fall in a huge hole in New Mexico. Took me nearly 2 hours to get him out. Dude went into a cattle guard. So all the horses had accidents. Luckily, they all survived. I retired them when I got to Brazil. They're my kids. I love them to death. And but those moments when I thought I was close to losing one of my kids, they were always the worst moments for me, because it was like my heart exploded in a million pieces.
Talk about those first. It ended up being a few different horses that you got to Brazil on, but the first three were it was Frenchie and I'm not remembering the other two.
Frenchie, Bruiser, and Dude.
And Dude, yeah. And then you got to the ranch in Copper Spring Ranch, yeah. And then they gave you a horse to ride to Wyoming, sir. And then through the Yellowstone, right?
So I left with Frenchie and Bruiser.
Yeah.
Bruiser is from Copper Spring Ranch in Montana, and Frenchie's from Stan Weaver, who was the past president of the Quarter Horse Association.
Yeah.
Those two horses were hauled up to Calgary. I rode out of Calgary. When I got to Wyoming, a rancher gave me a third horse by the name of Texas.
Texas, yeah, because you rode there for a week, and that was
sir.
From one of the guys that helped fund the journey of it.
Yes, sir.
Initially,
the owner of the production company that funds the journey.
Yeah,
he owned the ranch that this guy ran his cattle out of, and a really nice guy named Marshal, like a real cowboy.
Yeah,
and
he worked you for a week, so the horse was kind of partial payment.
Yeah, exactly, partial payment. So I get Texas, and we rode Texas, Frenchie and Bruiser, all the way to Texas, the state. And I just realized it wasn't a trip for Texas. He was a smaller horse. I could see at the end of the day, Frenchie and Bruiser had their heads up high, looking around, and Texas was in the back, like at the end of the Lee Road, being like, 30 kilometers is too much for me.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to stick with him. Like, obviously, I fell in love with the horse. He was a part of the pack, but I was like, you know what? It's not the trip for him. So a friend of mine that I'd met down there, Karen Hardy, an American woman, great woman that helped me out. She put me in touch with Taos Pueblo indigenous people. She used to train horses for them, and she had this horse named Dude, a Mustang, and she ended up giving me that horse, and she took Texas. So I continued with Frenchie, Bruiser, and Dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at one point you had... what was the Copper Springs horse you rode across Yellowstone?
Bruiser. Oh, Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah,
yes,
because
Daredevil.
Because somebody got
Bruiser
stifled.
got her first.
He was stifled for a while.
That was
right?
Frenchie. Frenchie got stifled.
Okay, yeah.
Bruiser got hurt also.
Yeah.
And the folks at Copper Spring Ranch, Brian Anderson, so helpful.
Yeah.
Lent me another horse so I could continue. Brian Anderson rode with me through the backcountry of Yellowstone.
Yeah. And you guys got in some hairy situations on that
man,
leg of the journey too.
Yeah, we lost our food. It was just terrible. Yeah. Didn't have water for the horses. Had to trek till almost 1 a.m. to find water in a dark forest, like plagued with grizzly bears. I am from Brazil. I have no bear experience in Ontario. Closest thing I have to bear is a raccoon. So like I was literally shitting my pants. And,
wow.
But we got through it, man. You always get through it. You always push, cowboy
Yeah.
up. Quitting is not an option.
Yeah.
And the mountain may be big, it may be majestic, and you may think it's going to eat you, but guess what? You're going to cowboy up and get to the other side.
So you get to you go to what was the worst or most fun part of the States? I guess that like crossing the border with the horse would have been like that was sound like a fun story too.
Yes, it was awesome. I was really worried about that. Like I was like, I'm going into the United States with 2 horses. Like Jesus Christ, like for Brazilians, it's hard enough to get a visa to go into the United States.
Oh yeah.
You're a bull rider. It's like all those Brazilian guys. Like some of them are like champions in Brazil, and they can't get up to ride in the PBR in the U.S. because they won't give them a visa.
Yeah.
It's really tough for us to come up to the U.S. And so I was so scared, but it was Montana. It's God's country, and the folks were so nice. They were taking photos of me, and the even like the officers and the people in line. And yeah, we got through it, and we got in. And like I said, Montana was amazing to ride through.
And then you got so Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, all the way to Mexico, correct?
Yeah, all the way to Mexico.
What was your best part in the States, though, or worst part?
Man.
Was it the next chapter? I haven't got very far into the book yet. I'll get finished before we release the show. But your next chapter is Water is Life, and you're in Wyoming, I think. So
yeah,
there's some pretty dry parts and a lot of windmills in that part of Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming is dry, is bone dry, and we suffered so much with the water. Like people always say, like, what did you do with feed, or what did you do with this, what did you do with that? No. What do you do with water? Because you can't carry water in a pack saddle. It's just way too heavy.
Pretty easy to not find any when you can only make 20, 30K in a day.
30 kilometers a day in really dry countries. And like, this changing weather that we're having, no one knows why. You know what I mean? Like people try to say it's one thing or another. Like we've had cycles in the world where the Americas were frozen and then it was really hot, so we don't know what's happening, but we do know the weather's changing. In a lot of countries, it was the worst drought in the last 100 years, and the U.S. was just that, and it was very tough. And that was the biggest problem we had was just water. That was a really hard part of the U.S. But I think the best part about the U.S. was just the cowboy culture and staying at ranches and helping a brand and roping. I got to rope at Cody, Wyoming.
Yeah, at the Cody Night Rodeo.
Rodeo capital of the world. That to me as a cowboy was just a dream come true. And I got to meet some pretty epic cowboys that are still living this way of life to today, whether they're ranchers or long riders or so that was a really cool part. The U.S. too is also so beautiful in terms of geography. The mountains, the forests, like the places I crossed, Yellowstone National Park, Colorado, like New Mexico, the sunsets and sunrises and the mesas out there, Texas, like the desert. It was all so beautiful. It was a really beautiful country to cross, and it took me nearly 6 months, so I got to see it real well.
Oh wow! And then so next up would have been was Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
That's where it starts to get into the tequila, a lot of drinking, a lot of parties, a lot of horseback rides, a lot of narcotraficantes. It got crazy in Mexico.
Wow. So just walk me through it, I guess. Where
we
did
started
where did it start?
Nojinaga, the anus of Mexico, okay?
So and which town is this? Where did you cross?
It's the border. You're in Presidio, Texas, first world, and you walk like 10 feet and you're in the third world, son. Oh, wow. Real quick.
Holy
People
shit.
like just carrying bags in poverty. There's holes everywhere. You feel danger. Like it's real quick.
Which part of Texas? Like, are you between Laredo
it's West
and
Texas.
So west. So you're like
I'm near Pecos.
Okay.
Marfa.
Yeah, so like Pecos is that was like that movie Judge Roy Bean. Like,
exactly.
That
All
was
the good
Pecos,
westerns you watch.
Yeah,
like my dad
like
rode
Alpine down by Alpine,
yes,
right?
Sir.
That's some pretty country too.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's real cowboy country. Like my dad rode with me through northern Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And every like 3 words he said was like, I feel like I'm in a John Wayne movie. I'm like, Dad, shut up.
Wow.
But that's what it is. Like that's where they fought. They shot a lot of those old westerns, Texas, Mexico, down northern Mexico, Chihuahua area.
Wow. So start off there, and you guys are like you're still knocking on doors, and
there's no doors. It takes us 7 days to get to the first town.
Really?
My dad and I are in the middle of this freaking desert.
So you're just camping out and
we're
like
camping
so where
out,
you find
we're
water in
ranches.
Where you
Some
find
days
water
you don't
there?
have water. You sleep
don't?
with the horses, no water, tied up.
Shit.
Some days you find a ranch. You knock on the door. You find people. The first little town we got to was a little village of I don't know how many people, not many people there, and this guy took us in, and just before we went to bed, my dad. That's funny because my dad, when we started riding in Mexico, was like, rule number 1: we don't sleep with anybody that's dealing with the drugs. Okay, like you don't go near them, you don't accept help for them, you don't want to do anything with them. I'm like, okay. First day we start riding. 20 kilometers down the road, we get to this little village called La Mula. There's a couple people living there.
And this is Chihuahua State.
This is Chihuahua State. There's
Yeah.
nothing, right? The first town is 7 days away. This is a tiny little gathering of some people that live in the middle of the desert. And this little chubby guy takes us in, and his mom is gone, like she's gone on a trip, and he's there by himself. We're in his home, and right before he goes to sleep, he's like, yeah, I was in jail in the U.S. for 5 years for carrying marijuana across the border. My dad's like, I'm like, what happened to the rule, Dad? Oh, it's nice and warm inside. This is like in the middle of winter. He's not going anywhere. Dad's already thrown rule number 1 out the window at this point.
So you're already by this time you leave Calgary in July, so you're 6 months down the road.
Yeah,
we're talking January. Yeah,
this is
January, Mexico.
It's cold. Like we get snow in Texas. Snow finally.
Yeah.
I was running away from the snow. The horse's water started freezing in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I was hauling ass through the United States because if it snowed and I caught the winter, I would have had to wait till the following spring.
Oh, wow.
So finally, when we got to Texas, it snowed on us. And then I just rode the final 3 days, and then we got to Chihuahua, and it was cold. So my dad wasn't going to give away a warm bed and some heat to sleep in the middle of the desert at that point. So he threw rule number 1 right out the window. But yeah.
So Chihuahua, and then do you go through Chihuahua City as well?
No,
didn't go that way.
We were east of Chihuahua City.
Okay.
And the first town we got to was called Camargo, a small town, and we were very happy to see people, and we were hosted very well by a rancher as well. And
this is like just somebody you met again. You
we
didn't know
just meet people on the road. No one knows who I am. You know, I knock on a door, or they see me riding down the road and they stop me and ask where I'm going, and everyone's been so helpful. That's the best part of the trip.
So then from there you're gonna get kind of a little tropical there, a little further south, hey?
Yes,
like
sir.
then it kind of gets like it gets kind of nice again after getting like flirting with winter. Then it gets nice again.
Yeah, but then it gets like real hot. So we cross the desert. You know, the desert continues south through most of northern Mexico, Zacatecas, Durango, and then once we start getting to Mexico City, then from Mexico City south, it gets tropical. But then what happens is you get to like 45 degrees.
Too hot.
Humidity. The horses are like trying
dragging
to breathe.
Their asses,
dragging at, like it's so humid they can't even breathe.
Water would probably almost be a trouble again, wouldn't it? Because you got to get the right
water's a trouble again because you have to drink so much of it because the horses are sweating so much all day. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, brushing your teeth, and your shirt is glued to your back.
And what time of the year is this now? Is this like March, April?
So January I got to Chihuahua. I crossed into Mexico. February, March, April, May, July probably.
July,
which is pretty hot down there as well.
Kind of the heat of the year at that point. I think the cow's saying we should take a beer break.
We hired that cow for the commercial break. It's good because I have to
Do you need
pee
another
like
one?
a horse.
Okay.
Yes, I got to pee first.
The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
So we're in Mexico. Get through Mexico, then you go. Then you're in Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica,
Nicaragua, Costa
Nicaragua.
Rica.
Yeah.
All and that was real hot, really hard, like humid.
really dry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tough, really tough. The borders were super hard. Got to Panama, had so many bureaucratic problems. You're gonna read about it. Then to get into South America was like the worst fight of my life. You know, like
How long did it take?
It took 2 months.
2 months you had to wait so you can get through the border?
Wait, stop.
What'd
2
you do
months.
for 2 months?
Got paperwork and money because it cost me tons of money. And some countries we couldn't go in, other countries wouldn't accept us. It was a huge mess. We basically
can't go around, really.
No, and then we got into Peru, and then from Peru rode to Bolivia, and then from Bolivia rode into Brazil. We're stopped at the Brazilian border for a month doing tests on the horses, quarantine. Like it was really hard. And but anyways, got into Brazil, rode for 3 months through Brazil, very hard as well. And but finally got into Barretos, the largest rodeo in Latin America.
Yeah.
30,000, 40,000 people in the stands. it was just yeah, like I always say, it feels like my spirit was out of my body for a little bit there. I reached another level of yeah, it was just insane, and it was just a dream come true. You know, it was very hard to take the first step. It was a lifelong dreaming of it. It was very hard and arduous to complete the journey, as you can imagine. So getting there with the horses, you know, my family on stage, my grandma, people that have been important to the trip, people that helped me from the U.S., people from Canada, and then these guys like unveiled this monument they built of myself
Really?
and the horses.
Oh, cool.
For them, like more than 5 meters tall, and yeah, man, it was spectacular. Like it was a
hero's welcome home.
yes, sir. It was insane. Like not even deserved. Like for me, it's just like I don't like. It's just insane. Like I'm very blessed and
wow.
thankful. Yeah.
So so that was into the first trip, and then you go. That was, and it was 2 years. Like you're 800 days on the road. Then what do you do? Then you sit home, sit
then
and
it's
write
real
the
tough.
book.
Then it's
like,
real
a lot more
tough.
work.
Yeah, I wrote the book, but it was a very hard moment in my life. Like I had symptoms of PTSD. Like I had anxiety, early signs of depression. Like I saw a lot of crazy things out there. You know, we laugh today, we talk about it. Like, oh, this guy was trying to kill his wife.
Yeah.
But I was there. Like I don't know if he was gonna come kill me next.
Oh,
or
yeah.
if he had killed her.
And you
like,
couldn't do anything. Like
yeah, those are things.
you got
like,
nothing to protect yourself with
yeah,
either.
and those are things that stayed with me in my soul for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
and then you finish this crazy like trip, this dream. You spent like 2 years
2
traveling on a
years,
horse,
yeah.
and then it ends, and you're back to normal life, and you don't want to talk about what you did. My friends would be like, every time we went to a bar, like, oh, this is Filipe, you know, he's the guy that rode horse, and I didn't want to be that guy.
And that's
like,
in Brazil.
and this is in Brazil, or when I came back to Canada to see my friends
And
stuff.
came back to Toronto or
To Eastern
Bolton,
Canada,
I
yeah.
guess, right? Bolton.
And so it was a very hard moment for me, and I kind of lost purpose. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like it was
Yeah.
a very tempestuous moment in my life. Like a lot of things fell apart, and until I went to this children's cancer hospital in Barretos and saw the work they were doing. It's a hospital that treats the kids for free in my country that has so many problems when it comes to health. Like people are dying in hospital lines because of a lack of doctors, medicine, equipment. And I saw this like state-of-the-art hospital started by a rancher.
Really?
And that treats kids for free. And I was like, how do I help? Like when I got
Yeah.
out of there, I was like, what do I do? Like, you know, like, what do I do? What do I do? And going on Google Maps and saw that there was 7,500 kilometers to get to the end of the world, the southern tip of South America. And I said, you know what? That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to get back in the saddle and ride there to Ushuaia, Argentina, raise funds for the hospital, you know, talk to people about the importance of an early diagnosis for childhood cancer. Another big problem in Latin America. Kids are getting to the hospital way too late, and there's nothing that the doctors can do at that point. So went on that trip. It took me a year and 3 months, 3 countries. I used a set of horses for each country and managed to raise $60,000 for the hospital, and arrived in Ushuaia in a blizzard, -16,
Oh, wow.
snow up to the horses' knees, and very arduous trip. Met Clara, my girlfriend, on that trip, saved my life, taught me how to love again, and I was in very bad shape, and I'm very thankful to have met her, and adopted a dog on the way, Butch Cassidy, a street dog.
Yeah.
Made a friend for life, Totti, a guy that helped me out so much the last 6 months of the trip, and then when I was getting to Ushuaia, I said, now I need to finish the Americas, all that stuff.
Yeah,
is
the whole
Alaska
way,
to
yeah.
Calgary.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now, you know, on this last leg.
And you're finishing July 3rd. We're, like we said, we're West Rocky, so you got a couple 100K to go, about 230 kilometers back
Yes,
to
sir.
Calgary. Then you're the parade marshal. Ride right into the Calgary Stampede. It'll be a little bit different without.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be completely different without the
Yeah.
Stampede, but
There'll be no one there,
there'll
but
be no one there. But
yeah,
it'll be
I'll
a
be there.
big deal though to ride into Calgary here in a couple weeks.
Oh, it's a huge deal. Like we said at the top of this podcast, you know, I feel blessed. It's a huge honor for me, you know, to be on a list with like Pierre Trudeau, William Shatner, Walt Disney. Like these are extraordinary people, you know.
Oh yeah,
And now I'm
Chris
on that list.
Hadfield, astronaut.
Yeah,
He's been
like
to space.
astronaut. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, the guy went to space. Like
Do you think space is more is about what, like you kind of have almost been to space in a different way? Have you been to
well,
Earth
here
in-
this is a
in a different
crazy
way?
fact.
Yeah.
12 people have walked on the moon.
Yeah.
3 guys have crossed the Americas on a horse.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for though. There's that.
Yeah.
There's less people that have done what you've done.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you get to Calgary. We're talking like 2 weeks from now, and this is
13 days exactly.
Yeah, 13 days from now.
I check every day.
And we get and because you're done after this. This is your last long ride. Like you've had enough. What
I've had enough. Last long ride. I've said it. That's the name of my last book. Yes, sir.
And what's next now? That we talked about this when I showed up. I asked you. Like,
yes,
I'm
sir.
curious.
Yeah, everyone wants
what's
to know.
next?
I know what's next. It's funny when I got to Brazil. Like there's a Brazilian. Television show. It's very famous in Brazil, and the guy came out to my hometown when I arrived there.
Yeah.
I had to like carry a saint for like 5 kilometers in. It was insane.
Yeah.
And went to church, and as soon as I'm going in the church with the saint, the guy's like, "Felipe, what's next?" I'm like,
I don't know yet.
Let me sleep first. Like,
Yeah.
what's crazy?
Yeah.
But everyone wants to know, right? What's next? And for sure, this is my last time riding a horse long distance. I've said this before. Like, it's the physical pain is doable. You know what I mean? I feel young still. I'm 33 years old. But the mental and the spiritual pain are very great. This has been hard. It's been very arduous. Every day is an adventure. Like, the amount of adrenaline that I'm living out here is like riding a bull. But for 8 years, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, like it's a long time.
It's a lot of big part of your life. It's a big,
yes,
like
sir.
one of the bigger parts of your life so far.
Yeah, it's a decade. It's a decade that I've been doing this project. From the point I started planning to when I finish, when I ride into Calgary, it will have been 10 years that I've been working on this. So I'm excited for some change. I want to work on this movie. They're turning my first book, Long Ride Home, into a movie. So I'm excited to work on that. We've been working on the script and the locations, and now we get to start shooting this thing next year. Hopefully, excited to launch my new book, Long Ride to the End of the World, this year at the Calgary Stampede, and work on the next few projects that will be, I feel like, related to journalism, documentary making, and this Western way of life, which is a part of my life. It's in my blood, and we can't get away from it. And tell stories that I feel are important to me and to this world that I love so much, that I'd hope is not going to end, and everything right now is pointing towards the end of it, and that breaks my heart because I grew up in it, and it taught me the biggest lessons of my life. I always say the horse has made me a better human being, and were I not a cowboy, I don't know what I would have been or who I would have been. So I'd like to hope that it continues for a long time, and I'd like to do that through these projects that I'm working on.
When I got hooked up with you to do this show, I watched the video where they announced that you were the parade marshal, and it kind of like it really kind of it hit me because it was such a real situation, I guess, or like a real story, and you have a real story, and it really resonated with what we do and what we want to, the stories we want to tell. As kind of like, I guess I'm kind of a journalist too,
Yes,
a little
sir.
bit, right?
Of
like
course, 100%.
not professional. I never went to school for it or anything,
No,
but
but
whatever.
journalism's not school, man.
Yeah.
It's this.
We want to tell the stories.
Yes,
so,
sir.
and the real people and in the real places. So
Yes, sir.
So, one question we asked everyone is what their definition of cowboy shit is. So, for you, I think this could fill up a whole show almost on its own. But take as much time as you want. Let's hear it.
No, to me, cowboy shit is like opening the door for whoever's coming out behind you. It's being kind. It's being a steward of the land. It's waking up early and working hard. It's respecting your elders. It's treating animals with the most respect that you can and living for them, living for the land. It's everything I learned growing up from men and women that wear cowboy hats and boots and spurs, and that's what it is to me. It's a way of life, and I try to live it every day because I love it, and I feel like it's a great way to live your life. And yeah, I'm just blessed to have grown up in a family of cowboys. That's all I can say,
Would you suggest this kind of travel to anyone else, or is this only for a few folks? Like this, it can't be. I don't know. Not a lot of people can do it, can afford to do it, have the horses. What would you say that way?
Well, people it's funny when I was riding to Brazil, I shot 6 episodes for a big show in Brazil, like the CBC The National, basically. Everyone watched it every Sunday night. And whenever it came out, there'd be thousands of comments on the stories, and 99% of them was just that, like, oh, if I was a millionaire, that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
If I was rich, I'd just travel the world on a horse. But yeah, like I was a kid with a dream, man. Like I didn't have a horseshoe to do this. I had 2 jobs that I used to work, and one of them was busing,
Yeah.
And I was still in my last year of university. I was broke, but I learned very quickly that if you have a dream and you want to do something and you're willing to work for it and you're willing to do this strategic planning of it, then nothing's holding you back. For me, when I hear people saying that to me today, I say, excuse. You don't have the money? Excuse.
Yeah.
Excuse. Like what? You can't? Excuse. You know, you don't have the know-how? Excuse. I didn't have anything. And today, like when I left Calgary, I left from a parking lot 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Today I'm riding back the parade Marshal. Like I shouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
I'm a Brazilian kid that only went to university thanks to a scholarship. Like it wasn't in the cards for me. You know what I mean? I didn't have the horses, I didn't have the saddles. Today I have a line of saddles.
Yeah.
Today I have a line of boots,
Line of hats.
Like,
Yeah. Everything.
I have 2 monuments raised in my, my name.
Yeah.
And it didn't come easy, but it wasn't handed to me. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of sweat. But anyone that wants to do anything, whatever it is, like when I told people about this, they said it was impossible.
Yeah.
So I can relate to people that say, people tell me I can't do it. It's like, bullshit. Do you want it?
Watch me. Yeah.
Like, do you want it or do you kind of want it? That's the
Yeah.
thing. I feel like a lot of people kind of want it. But if you want it bad enough and you're willing to work for it, nothing is impossible.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. Totally agree. That's what my dad told me whenever I was a kid. I can do anything I want to if I want to bad enough.
Yes, sir.
Right?
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just how hungry are you?
Yeah.
That's why all these Brazilian guys come up to PBR
Yeah.
and win.
They're hungry. Yeah.
Because they're real hungry, literally and figuratively.
Oh yeah.
And that
So-
makes the difference,
We can wrap it up there, but I want to ask. You said you were looking for that purpose and everything afterwards. So you got a little bit longer here with the movie, with getting that done,
Yep.
with another book coming too. But what else do you want to accomplish in your lifetime? What's the next? What does that look like? I guess in the next 30 years.
I just want to keep traveling. Like I love traveling. I love telling stories of faraway places, faraway cultures. Like I said, I studied journalism to try to inspire a more just world. I was born in Brazil, and I know what it's like for people not, to work in the morning to eat lunch, and to work in the afternoon to eat dinner, and kids that don't have an opportunity to go to school, and it breaks my heart, and I don't like it. So I'd like to work on projects that kind of try to help with that, and like I said, to spread this Western culture and the reality of it. The cool thing about me is that my book is a bestseller in Portuguese and English, so it's not just country folk that are reading my book. It's people in New York or Philadelphia or Sao Paulo or Rio or Paris, and I love that. I love to be able to take our Western culture into the homes of doctors and lawyers and these people that live in the big cities and the major cities, and a lot of time judge us from afar because they don't know our world. And I feel like when they read about it and they find out how much love we have for these animals and this way of life, they'll respect it and allow us to continue to celebrate it and live it the way we have for hundreds of years. So that's going to be, for the next projects, always I feel like documentary or, writing and things like that. But I feel like related to the horse and this Western culture.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for doing this, Filipe Masetti Leite.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. This was totally awesome. I'm glad we got to come out here today and do this, and I guess we better make ourselves some supper here soon. And
yes, sir. We're gonna
figure
eat
it
now.
out.
Thank you so much for
All
bringing
right.
this cooler full
Hey,
of beer.
No worries.
And it's a pleasure hanging out with you guys for a little bit. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you July 3rd at the Calgary Stampede, your 2020 Parade Marshal, Filipe Masetti Leite.
Yahoo!
I told this guy where I was from. He said, "Oh, Canada." Kind of laughed it off. It was funny, huh?
Actually a banger. Man, I really dig Classified.
Classified sick.
But there's some stuff that he has that's a little aggressive sometimes. But big Classified fan.
Yeah, he's good.
I did throw some in last year when we were in Halifax, because he's from Halifax,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna need to start doing as sound people?
Yeah.
Is start incorporating TikTok songs into our rotation.
Oh, really?
Just because people will, like the younger generation that is heavy on TikTok will recognize that, and
But-
they can attach to it.
I
Where they
guess
where they
that's
fit
true.
though.
Where
You know
they
what I mean?
fit, yeah. But like that Savage song, I've already got a plan with that with Brinson. Like that's gonna be one that works for him. The one that's the Carol Baskin, like the dance song, isn't it?
I learned to dance.
To that song.
Took me 4 hours.
Hey, are you still TikToking? By the way?
No, bro. I thought. Oh,
Thank
I stopped because I've been busier more. Like I'd rather just go outside.
He's
and
been
ride my
outside.
bike.
He'd rather go outside than sit around inside for 4 hours
TikToks.
practicing a TikTok dance.
Yeah, And I mean, I do
So
have a
that's
lot of
fair.
ideas for
That's
them
fair.
still. Like, and I probably maybe one day I'll make a few more. But
Back in the fall.
at this-
Expect more talks in the fall.
at this point, I'm just busy enough and doing my own thing that I don't really care to make them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like, don't be afraid just to delete that app off your phone.
No, I
Man,
don't think
I don't listen-
think folks are missing.
I
it
don't
too
have
much.
time. I don't have. That's a lie. A lot of people are missing
Your
it.
your TikToks were gold. I'm not bashing the ones that.
Sounds
you
like you were
made, but
bashing me, dude.
I'm just sick
I'm
and
getting
tired.
vibes that you're trying to bash me on the podcast here.
Well, then start doing more dances.
No,
Carol
I'm not gonna do
Baskin.
them.
Killed her husband.
I was
She
good
whacked
at that dance.
It was pretty good. I liked your hand towel mullet. It was pretty solid. Okay, so we're missing the Stampede this year. What are you gonna miss most about the Stampede this year? Foldy, what do you got?
I don't have too much to tell you the truth, other than watching it on TV.
Seeing my pretty face on TV, eh?
Yeah, I've seen Wacey
No,
and
I've
his
never been.
mustache.
I've never been there.
To the Calgary Stampede. Are you shitting me?
Like I have been there to watch it, but I haven't been there in like the last 4 years.
Oh, really?
My thing is, I told Nikki that I'm not going until like
You got
I get,
bulls there.
Oh,
yeah,
you're one of
till I got
those
bulls
people.
there.
That's what I said
Yeah,
about somewhere too, but then
Like-
I changed my mind.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. Life's too short.
No, but that's the thing though. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make it so like the next time I go there, it's like a huge deal for me.
That's fair.
That's allowed.
That's legit. That's legit.
Because that's the only event I haven't done in Canada that like is
Damn.
on my
It's on
to-do
your
list.
list, yeah.
Right.
fair
Damn,
enough.
boy.
Wacey, what are you missing most this year?
I'm gonna miss the vibes around Calgary.
The vibes around Calgary, yeah.
It is so cool.
It's not gonna be the same.
It's so cool how like this a city of like over 1 million people
Mhm.
can just buy into something for 10 days and like basically the whole city like shuts down, air quotes, for
Kind
it.
of,
And
yeah.
everybody's like out having stampede parties at the rodeo. Like
Yeah.
I think it's so cool how that people buy into that and all the people that come in to see Calgary and
Well, and how about the thing with Filipe, like for him to ride and having ridden all this way across North America, South America, Central America, isn't that kind of fucking amazing to do that? Like to just
do it.
do it, right? Like he's dedicated 10 years of his life to doing this, and he has books, and there's a movie in the works, and like he's already working on his third book, and he's like 33.
Good for him.
Like
That's
it's
sweet.
That's
it's
crazy.
impressive. It's kind of it was inspiring to me to read his book and just think about getting rid of everything, and like he doesn't have a house, he doesn't have a car, he's got nothing. He's got some horses that he gets to ride for a while that don't even end up being his, and I don't know. Just it's wild.
But yeah.
Okay, so Stampede
for me, yeah, that's easily gonna be what I miss the most.
is the city, the feeling in the city in Calgary.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm living downtown, like it's fun.
For me, it's got to be like it's got to be playing the music during the Chuck Wagon races. That's such a big event. I'm gonna miss that one. Like that week, there's been a few that I've missed so far, but that'll be a big one. So we're gonna have to really keep ourselves busy that weekend to try and
We're
not
gonna
be
be at the
sad.
lake.
Yeah, doing lake stuff.
I'm gonna be sending
Maybe-
my mountain bike down a fucking mountain.
We're
as
gonna go
fast as
to
I can
Kelowna too the next week after that, and then
Mhm.
what else do we got? Yeah, we're gonna be doing some stuff. But what else? So actually, since the last show, I think we might have put it out. Put it out the week that I was at Foley's house, but I actually got to see. We had been at Foley's house before, but we hadn't been to the ranch. So we actually saw where all the bulls hang out. Where
Ranch manager John, got to see ranch manager John.
yeah, he was fixing a tractor, and I was there. So I was there, helped you. I put out a couple buckets of feed into the troughs, all the bovines. It was the same day that you took them to like on the last show when you took them to
The JO factory.
yeah, to the JO factory. So it was the same.
Yeah, the old rub and tug.
The old rub and tug. So it was the same. It was the same day actually. I didn't even really know because I don't watch the social medias as much as some.
You gotta
folks.
call it a massage parlor.
the massage parlor. So it was the
Legally.
same day. So the boys were all pretty tired. They weren't too aggressive that day. But then Sean came by too, not long after, like about a week later, and you guys got stuck in the old Gator.
Yeah, we took Sean on the tour too. It was he was down here for something with his wife or whatever. So he gave me a shout, and he was supposed to come in the morning. We were bucking bulls for video for charity, and then he showed up kind of late, which is typical Morton fashion. And then and then we went out, took him for a tour, kind of showed him where the cows were, you know, my setup and stuff like that. It's nothing to write home about, but he came out and kind of seen everything, and then we got stuck in the side by side, and then we had to get John to drive the Bobcat out into the field to pull us out.
You must have buried that thing.
Man, it's the same trail I take every day to feed bulls.
I thought
So,
we were
I
gonna
don't
get
know.
stuck the time that I was there. Like it kind of.
Yeah, we
It's
went
kind
through
of-
it, me and you.
Yeah, but then he got wrecked.
Yeah, and then I got my dad's shoes dirty.
Oh.
You got some like New Balances or what? Or the Nikes?
Some white Asics.
Attaboy.
Oh yeah, I
shoes.
got comfort, right? Comfort over style.
It's true.
So yeah, no, it was good though. It was cool seeing Sean and talking to him. A person doesn't really, I guess you do notice, but you know what I mean. I talk to contractors a few times a week, but it's guys like you, Ted, and Sean, and
What
the
about
other
me?
people behind the scenes.
Who said you? Ted and
Wacey, the
Sean?
guys that crack gates.
You were you.
No,
Wacey.
it was
You
the
were
way he
you.
said it. It was like it's guys like you, Ted. Like,
No.
yeah, the way
No,
you said
it was
that's
you.
how.
It was
But
you,
you're
and it was a
not- you're not
comma.
at
No, it was
every
not.
event.
He said he was talking to you, so he
No, it
said
wasn't.
you with Wacey.
Hey, that's the way I
You were
heard
in
it.
there.
That's the way I heard it, man.
Well, maybe you should hear it differently,
no,
so you don't take offense.
I'm
'Cause
offended.
he definitely included you.
Well,
Anyways.
it's just the guys that you see every weekend. Wacey, I don't see you every
I
weekend.
know because I don't
sometimes
want.
you-
That's on purpose, bro.
Wow. Just let me grab my feelings.
I'm
'cause
just
they're-
kidding, bro.
But yeah, no, it you don't get to see everybody, so it's cool seeing everybody talking, catching up, and
Well, kind of just adds like some normalcy back into life, hey?
it does. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, this summer just feels like I got nothing but no time. But I should have lots of time. But it's like we're catching up on things from the past 5 years that you haven't.
You never
done.
got to do, yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing. That's one thing I really enjoyed too. It's like,
Doing new stuff. Eh?
yeah, this is like the first summer in my life, or in the first summer since I've been 14 that I haven't been like rodeoing for the most of it, and it's been awesome. I was fucking loving it.
Well, yeah, I haven't swam in a lake in 4 years, and on Tuesday we're going to Christina Lake in BC.
Sick.
And as soon as I get there, I'm running like
Swan dive.
Baywatch. No, I'm Baywatching it. Like I'm gonna grab some kid's noodle on the beach and just slow motion run into the water.
Oh dear.
Are you a good swimmer?
Am I Michael Phelps? No. But am I gonna, can I swim to the shore? Yeah. I wouldn't say I can't remember. We did swim lessons in school, and I want to say I got past the turtle, whatever that is.
I made it to level 5 of swimming lessons, and I hung her up.
I was bad at swimming. I hated it.
I was gonna say, Ted, you don't look like a big swimmer.
No, not yet. You're correct. I fucking hated swimming.
Have you guys tried the surfing behind boats? Wake surfing?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
do
have
that.
done that. I loved it.
I
It was very good.
I want to try that so bad.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
When are you
Gonna be out
going?
on
When are
the-
you going?
We're
Tuesday.
going
Oh, the Tuesday. Sick.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. My sponsors, Tribit. So Luke and Al, they have, and actually ProStar, Terry Bandura, they all have lots down there. So we're gonna go down, and this is something I've never been able to do. So that's pretty cool about this summer.
Hell yeah, that's sweet.
We're gonna go down and do some surfing behind their boats and just hang out.
Man, lake life is the best.
We're
It
I'm looking
is.
forward to lake life too because I haven't done it in years either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm pumped. Okay, boys. What's one last thing to wrap it up? We got anything else, or are we just gonna call it?
I got nothing.
I'm looking forward to golfing some more, seeing some friends.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some events later on in the year too. I'm thinking so. We'll be back soon enough, and enjoy it till then, and sell some boots, and just keep
I'm
living.
just gonna keep riding my back.
There you go. Ride it back. Thanks
You're a big
to
biker.
I'm a
Big
hardo.
bike. Hey, Wacey, I got one thing, Wacey.
Yo.
yo.
Because Calgary Stampede is canceled this year.
Oh God.
This might go bad.
Do you take your Daisy Dukes that you were going to wear this year and wear them next year, or do you just scrap them and then get a new pair for next
You're gonna have
year?
to scrap them and get a new pair because it might be new like fashion trends come along, right?
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. I was just wondering because I know that's a huge thing. You know what I mean? It's got your,
Western. It's man. It's
get
just
your-
it's Western
get your
fashion.
George.
Fashion.
Western
It's
fashion.
You're
fashion.
bro.
scrapping. Are you gonna wear this year's at all, or are you just they're just
Well,
done?
I
because-
might to the lake.
Maybe on his back. Maybe. At the
Actually,
lake.
I'm considering getting a couple pairs of jorts. Not gonna lie.
I might just cut some pants off, make them jorts.
No, just get regular jorts.
I got lots of jeans here. I can just hack them off
They'll be real baggy.
up on the knee.
They'll be super baggy.
Not if I wear the slim straights. Get them on my
You
thighs.
should. Yeah. Well, you got that Wrangler deal, so that'd be good.
Right, I got heaps of jeans here. I got brand new ones. I can just get hemmed.
It's weird that Wrangler hasn't moved into some jorts.
Maybe they probably will. They probably should.
It's kind of a miss by them, you'd think.
Well, they did have
probably-
Jort Center on the Wrangler network. It was Jort Center. It was like in the Dad Week. It was pretty good.
Jort Center.
Yeah, instead of Sports Center, it was Jort Center.
Yeah,
Sports
I like
desk.
that.
It's
Yeah.
sports in a
Hey,
desk.
Do you think that Wrangler, like compared to other Western clothing, do you think that they're like a little bit behind, or are they like great with everybody?
No, they just have some of the core stuff that that everybody wears. It's tough to cater to everyone, but they kind of have.
I
a
think
little bit
they'd
for a lot
be
of
right
folks.
up with everybody. Like
Yeah,
they
they're
do
right
come out
there.
with new stuff every year.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
have moved into more of like
They have a lot
the
of fashion
non-traditional stuff too. Yeah, it's more
There's-
like a fashion stuff.
They have more stuff they don't even realize.
Yeah.
Like they have activewear now. Like they have like hiking stuff that you might not have even seen yet. They could be in like almost any store.
like Hard Press,
Jeans.
that store in
Yeah.
Saskatoon. That
Yeah,
they sell like Wranglers.
like the fashion Wranglers.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we got to roll, guys. But thanks for being on the show, Mr. James Foley, Wacey Anderson, our editor, Sean Morton, our guest, Filipe Masetti Leite. It was such a cool show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're gonna miss the Calgary Stampede this year, but I've got one more song actually here. I gotta find it. Hold on.
Yahoo!
That's the one thing I'm not gonna miss with the Stampede.
Do you think Calgary puts those signs up just to remind everybody?
Probably. What song is this?
Yahoo!
Little Hobo?
If that's not Canadian, I don't know what is. I'm gonna settle down until tomorrow. I'll just keep moving on.
Down this road that never seems to end.